which job is a lot less fun than most people expect. Working in an animal shelter. For sure, it's probably less intense than zookeeping, but the amount of people who apply or volunteer expecting to come in and play with cute puppies all day is absurd. We're basically animal maids. You deal with animals of all sorts of behavioral and developmental stages, shitting and pissing every fucking where, and then you look over and this fucking dog named Chumbawamba's swimming in his water bowl, so you gotta fill that up 6 times and dry his kennel out, and then you go and mop up the cat room around 10 kittens who want to eat your mop, and also 4 children who are all yelling that there's puke in the floor and I must clean it now. Not to mention all the extra behind-the-scenes work that the public never sees. How in the summer, during kitten and puppy season, the shelter built to house 500 max has 750, and I didn't take a lunch or sit at all for any of my shifts for the past 6 days. How the courts force us to put down animals that we know can be rehabilitated, but we don't get enough funding to fight it. How animal control just showed up with the 4th pregnant stray of the week, but intake is full and even double stacked in some cases, so your co-worker fosters the cats on her own. Not even to mention the shitty fucking people who do dumb shit and end up getting bit or scratched, and the animal is the one who bears those consequences. I am the proudest shelter worker in the world. I adore my job, even at its hardest. I didn't sit for 9.5 hours today and I found a cat turd in the cuff of my jeans, but it doesn't matter because a bonded pair of adult cats got adopted today. I took 6 applications this morning and the cat in bank 4 with the goopy eye is already looking better, and we sent a mom out to foster. The hard work is always worth it for these babies. I want to hear more about Chumbawamba. Animal shelter workers are my heroes. I used to volunteer at an adoption center in Mexico. They don't get government funds, and people there don't donate generously like they do in the US. I'd see some dogs that had had some terrible things done to them, and the people who worked there would just roll up their sleeves and do whatever it took to get them healed and adopted. Seriously, heroes. Every day. Less than 3. I always say the more fun it is to go somewhere, the worse it is to work there, like amusement parks and arcades. Honestly, every job that lots and lots of people really want to do sucks, mostly due to supply and demand. You're gonna be treated like shit, and if you complain you're gonna be fired because you're inherently replaceable, because there's thousands of people that would love to do your job for even less money than you are making. Demolition. Everyone wants to break shit with a sledgehammer. Everyone is tired of lifting that sledgehammer by 5 swings. Nobody wants to load the broken stuff into bags or a wheelbarrow and take it to the dumpster. I did a 2-week demo job years ago where I had to jackhammer, 75 pounds at least, a concrete slab and grind rebar into pieces. I'm in good shape and that job fucked me up. Pay is also low or unreliable. You get given a week to bust up and remove the tile from some strip mall storefront, and then the terms change after they see that that's not all that they wanted. Google Street View driver. You're all alone for 8+ hours a day, can almost never take a break, need to constantly be on and focused, lest you crash the $25,000 Subaru with $60,000 plus worth of camera equipment on it. You end up becoming an amateur meteorologist to keep track of weather patterns and cloud cover, and in my experience there are a lot of people who just get insanely upset at you, at Google, and the job in general for a wide variety of reasons. I enjoyed myself when I did it, but it was nowhere near as glamorous or fun as I or my friends and family assumed. Had that gig for a while too and agree. Kinda sucked that actually caring about the quality of my work, not driving while the weather was iffy, meant I was making less money than people who just drove regardless of weather. Also the pay in general sucked. I heard the Bing Map drivers got paid like a third more. Always thought a free Google Maps t-shirt would have been a nice token, after driving X hours. On the bright side, sometimes you'd come across people who were super excited to see you and do goofy shit for the camera. Sometimes I check later and occasionally see it made it to production. I'm a marine biologist. I spent the last week measuring defrosted fish heads. Paleontologist. You don't get to work with full dinosaur skeletons and do all kinds of awesome expeditions. You're mostly sitting at a desk looking at some pictures and logging stuff on your computer, maybe examining a fossil occasionally. If you're lucky you can go on a real dig, and OMG spend hours in the hot sun dusting off rocks. That actually sounds pretty fun. It basically sounds like school with some extra steps. Being a writer. I always thought it was my absolute dream job. But the only job I could get after college was working in a content mill as a blog writer. I used to work 70-hour weeks staring at the computer in a basement of an old bank writing bullshit articles about the dangers of mold, fence cleaning, and why you need a commercial awning, and the dream turned into a nightmare. While I still write occasionally, I am now working as a communications person, so it is a bit less heavy. Similarly, fiction writer isn't as amazing as movies and TV shows would have you believe. Most of the work is spent doubting yourself, feeling like your book isn't going anywhere and that you'll never be able to finish it, and even when you do, that nobody is going to like it, and if they do, that you'll never live up to the expectations with the next one. Oh, and line editing is one of the most boring, mind-numbing things I've done in my entire life. Especially when it comes to cleaning up repetitions. It literally never ends. You basically just have to let go of it when you hit your deadline and hope you did good enough that readers won't ask themselves how such a terrible writer can be published. Don't think I'd want to do anything else for the rest of my life though. Video game testing. I've been working in the game industry for 6 years now, and teaching for 2. Testing video games is thought to be just, oh, you just play games all day? Lol, but it's actually very specific and arduous. First of all, there are a bunch of testing methodologies such as load/soak testing, white room testing, version testing, to name a few, but the most common one is functionality testing. Functionality testing is so if I walk into that corner with the shotgun in my inventory, I can clip through the wall, but if I have my M16 in my inventory, I don't clip through. How do you go about finding out something like your example where if you walk through a wall with a certain item you clip? Is it just insane copious trial and error? It seems like such an insanely tough job, and then since you're only one guy, within a week someone finds some game-breaking glitch fairly early on. It just seems like a tough cycle. Being a character performer at Disney. Don't get me wrong, there are some amazing perks and truly magical moments. I know I'm super lucky and tons of people would love to be in my shoes. But the day-to-day work is exhausting in ways I never thought possible. Guests are ridiculously abusive. I've had things said and done to me I never would have imagined. The company isn't always great, it highly depends on your leadership. And there's so much focus on your body and face, good and bad, that it can be incredibly depressing and difficult emotionally. Plus, you have to accept that there's very little upward mobility. Most people grow out of it, and it's rough to know that one day you'll get too old or too fat and you will have to start all over in a new career field. So you constantly are thinking either, 1, what you're going to do when you leave, 2, how you're going to keep yourself there. A long time ago the local schools would have grad night at Disneyland. One year a group of rowdy boys decided they would beat up Mickey Mouse. Not only were they total assholes, but Mickey Mouse was a girl that night. The school got banned from Disney for 10 years. I had a friend who was a face character. She says she got groped by a lot of dads. Lawyer, no, it isn't like they show on TV. Hey, finally cases before the judge, crap, the other party didn't show up. Next date that judge has given is 3 months away. And that's just litigation. As Tom Hanks once said, it's like doing homework for a living. ETA for the pedantic types, which it shouldn't surprise me, being lawyers and all. It was an interview many years ago and he was asked what career he would hate to have if wasn't an actor. It stuck with me because it rang true. And you don't work on one case until you solve it, like How to Get Away with Murder either. Working at a Charles Dickens fair is interesting, but not incredibly fun. It is hard to stay in character, and people get so mad when they see the Alice in Wonderland area. Yeah, we know it's not Charles Dickens, but we can't have a kids play area in the world of Oliver Twist, okay? Lol, the kids play area is a coal factory. Reminds me of going to the La Brea Tar Pits in Los Angeles once. They had a dinosaur movie playing with a sign that said something like, "There's no dinosaur remains in this area and we only show this movie because so many children were getting upset about it." Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.